We gon' break up, then we make up. Act like we're gonna be friends. Blaze the fire, take me higher. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again. We gon' break up, then we make up. Act like we're gonna be friends. Blaze the fire, take me higher. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again. Break up, then we make up. Act like we're gonna be friends. Blaze the fire, take me higher. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again, all over again. Leave it all over again. All over, babe.
1,000 words ain't enough to define the body of, yeah. Caught her look and she wants it back. She's firing up that body up, yeah, babe. You think that I want you, but nah, babe. You're one in a million, but it's not for me. I'm not into girls with a plastic trace. Don't take it too personally, yeah. My fault, my bad. The words out, but you weren't ready for it. Show off, appearance of I got it, but I got. like we're from a different star, flying over streets and our broken hearts. But they can't even touch us, we found a different beat. Paradise is waiting and we bought the lead. Ooh, getting caught in the mist, there's so many that never get out of. They're feeding the fears and the doubts. Ooh, but we go and we run to the end and we run without shame. We own the game, and we ride on the flames till the morning light. Baby, 'cause we're dynamite. Ain't nobody gonna hold us down. Break all the rules, let them run and hide. Baby, 'cause we're dynamite. Gonna let the world know. We're from a different time, yeah, we're of a different breed. 'Cause what we got is timeless, we supersede. And we hold in the key, yeah, we're tight as can be. We're rolling, just like we please. Ooh, getting caught in the mist, there's so many that never get out of. We're feeding the fears and the doubts. Ooh, but we go and we run to the end and we run without shame. We own the game, and we ride on the flames till the morning light. Baby, 'cause we're dynamite. Ain't nobody gonna hold us down. Break all the rules.
And we're away. Who's going to come out on top? Wow, what a save. Oh, he's another one!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our final series. So we are here for the pro finals tonight. Of course, we've got a feature race sending off or welcoming in BMW new car. My name is David McNulty, Bender, and tonight I'm joined by Jamie Cornboy and Braden Ross. Good evening, gents. How are we?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yes, good evening, Bender. Absolute pleasure to be here for the pro finals. It's Christmas time. The trees are up. I'm very excited.
Yes, the trees are up. Well,
As
is your
December
Christmas
1st.
tree up? That is the question. So if you're in chat, hello to everyone. We've got Mr. Peabody, Jan Tully, Pat Oliver, Gorilla, John. Hope you're all doing well. Let us know. Is your Christmas tree up? Have you put up the Christmas decorations? Me personally, I put mine up about 3 weeks ago. I love Christmas. As soon as Halloween ends, Christmas stuff comes out.
Which is just disgusting in my opinion. As Jamie and I were discussing before we went live, that December 1st is the date when you can put your Christmas tree up. That's fine. A few weeks before, you're just weird. And you're kind of in the festive season all year round with that little Discord picture that you have.
Yes, look, I got the Santa Bender on my Discord picture, and then I got Bender in the desert playing the banjo on Steam. I used to change them, and then I figured, nah, this is too much effort to swap between them on both platforms, you know, twice a year. Well, let's just keep one on each.
I got two cats. I got two cats, Craigdale, and they both absolutely love the tree. We have to keep all the baubles off of the bottom branches. We have to keep everything away from the bottom because they just go hammer and tongs on it. And then Camp Craigdale.
Yeah, I feel like the same situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate in that regard. I don't have any pets myself, so Christmas tree stays nice and perfect. No outside forces influencing it. We've got a few people in the chat, of course, pointing out this is a GT4 feature race. Yes, it is GT4. Apologies, not the new BMW M4. Also, there's a few people in the chat wishing you congratulations on your Pro-Am finals win last night. So we'll just discuss that quickly for a little bit, right?
Hey,
Qualifying. Congratulations, mate.
No, thank you. There was so yeah, my first win in a row. So it felt pretty good. Also my first pole, which I was surprised about. So I only had the race to the World Cup. So yeah, I surprised myself. I feel like it may have been a little bit of luck on my side last night. But fun to run the race. But as I it's not the grand slam.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, you know, Brad, you and I, we've got a long history of giving out Grand Slam awards. They are very prestigious in the OR annals of history. Unfortunately, you didn't get to join that last night.
One day I'll
Yes, the infamous Pickford Award. Fifth time coming in so far. Piper so far this way with a 33-3. Others in chat saying, when do you take down your decorations? That's a good question. Sometime, second week in January. What about you guys?
Oh, that's a lazy bit. Maybe keep the tree up. Cover it with the birthday stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I get a little bit lazy with it. It's definitely not till after New Year, is it? It's sort of just around about the first week. Sort of starts to slowly come down. You might leave the lights up a little bit longer because they're hard to put down and they're pretty, but the tree already comes down pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few blackout days after New Year's. The tree's not coming down then. I'd say you'd want to get your tree down by Valentine's Day. That's generous.
Valentine's Day. Oh, that's a long runway, mate. What have we got?
6
Gorilla
weeks,
Snapper
7
in
weeks.
chat here saying he's come down 2 p.m. on the 25th.
There you go, Pickford in chat. I think I was the first recipient of that award. Yes, you were, and that is why we have deemed it the Pickford Award. It's like the Brownlow of sim racing.
Daniel O'Donnell out there in his car 69. AV loves Mull is his team name, and that is absolutely true, my friend. AV does love Mull. Who else we've got an AV? Simon Gorofsky's out there too, and Nick Rod, a couple of AV boys. So yeah, we do love Mull, and we do miss you in the commentary box, mate. So absolutely hope you're recovering.
What team names do you guys recognise?
Rain Dance Racing, of course, it's a great success because it didn't rain, but that's okay. It'll rain at Spa next week. Watch out for that one.
You definitely dance though. You get a nice pre-ready.
Yes, there was a bit of contact in induced spin at the hairpin.
What about you, Cornboy? What's your team name?
Well, I've actually brought out a special finals only premium livery, and it is AV Corn Hub Premium.
Oh, beautiful. My team also brought out a finals only team and become a patron today.
I did see that. Yes, that's a great call from you. Become a patron today. I'm actually considering running that next week to run alongside, but that's a great call from you.
Well, it worked out really well because I got a lot of screen time last night. If we
You got a lot of screen time because you were winning the bloody racing.
A lot of people running wide in this qualifying session, by the way, just dipping those wheels out into the grass. I feel like there's been very little practice with this.
Well, it is.
Fighting for competition.
Always interesting, these little races, because none of them have probably driven that many GT4s before. They certainly haven't driven them since the update. They won't have any setups prepared. They'll all just be coming into this fresh as a daisy. So I always love watching these races because it sort of evens the pack out when no one knows what they're doing.
Oh, it's a very happy to be here kind of race. Not fighting for anything. There's no rivals or anything. Everyone just wants to cruise around and see what happens.
There you go. Sam Bracken, he's happy to be here. He's gone provisional fastest at the moment, 33.2. A few comments in chat saying the game volume's a bit loud. Turn up the commentators. The mic volume's a bit low. So hopefully we get those sorted in a moment.
Because we just see Piper dip his wheels into the earth.
There's also been a couple of mentions from a few different people that ACC have dropped a small update, so I hope to goodness that doesn't disturb the profiles. What a time.
Why do they do this?
There you go. So, yeah, so Sumer in chat is on saying ACC had a 400 megabyte update. So if Camp Farmer's around or Mullock's around, maybe suss that one out.
But the time has wound down. We're at 0 now, so there's a couple of cars left on track that may improve. Piper might be one of them. But Sam Bracken looking pretty handy up there on provisional pole position in his Porsche.
He popped it in the pits, as was Stimson, so they've thrown up the wheel for the session. I'm just going to have to see what Piper said, so he just runs the last corner.
Looks pretty handy. He's a 33 something. Yeah,
33.0.
33.0. Nice work. So he'll put it up there. Daniel O'Donnell's still out on track too. He might have something to say about that. But nice work, Ben Piper. Have yourself a provisional pole position. Nearly into the 32s as well. So very close to cracking that marker.
Oh, Piper just loses the rear. rounding, which one was that? Turn 3.
So no, I think that's it. I think he's got it. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he did that on purpose and that he was celebrating his pole position.
Nice little action shot of Piper there. Getting the wheels in the air.
Mono a mono.
Yeah, that's some Fast and the Furious shit right there.
Good morning, Maritz, from wherever in the world you are today. Always somewhere different.
Can we guess? Is it Portugal?
It's Europe.
Europe. That's wow. Have a stab, Bender.
Are you
Germany.
Northern Hemisphere?
Yeah, it'd definitely be Northern Hemisphere. I want to say somewhere in Spain.
There you go. A few comments, Braden, saying turn your mic up a bit.
All right, let's see what I can do.
Oh, gee, there you go. Pat's
How's
absolutely
that?
nailed it. He said planet Earth. Give the man a round of applause, please.
Yeah, well done, Pat. Love your work, mate. You're a genius. And that's why you have gotten so far in life with that kind of knowledge. Is the mic a little bit better? Did I improve it at all? Probably not.
You sound the same to me, so we'll be waiting on chat to let us know if you've improved.
So, there's a very valid question here. What part of Moritz Wagner screams Spanish to you, Braden?
I said Spain, and
Jamie's.
the reason I said Spain is because he travels a lot. So, I mean, I follow him on Instagram, and he's always in somewhere different. So I'm just having a crack at where he is today, not necessarily where he was born.
Oh, okay. So good.
Yeah, that
good
was
clarification
Portugal as well.
So that was my original opening to him. I just wanted to know where he was watching us from today. Our friend Moritz Wagner. Nah, that's crap. See, this is why I'll just stick to Moritz. Anyway, off they go. Just a final corner warm-up sort of scenario here. No full lap formation. Bender, I feel like you're going to take us away on this one, surely.
Well, I've just been handed to, so sure thing. Here we go. GT4s, you've got to be careful. There will be that little widget thing that will tell you where to be, how fast to go. And if you disobey it and make the game angry, you will get, I think it's a drive-through penalty. So, something to keep an eye out for. But here we go. GT4s are away at Brands Hatch. Makes me wonder when the 96 hour of Brands Hatch, as they go 3 wide into turn 1. Bit of bumping. Oh, who was that? BMW on BMW action, maybe.
Little touches, not bad. Play on.
But Piper looks like he's held the lead nicely so far. McDonald having a go at Bracken. Nice and clean. Everyone's still facing forward, which is what you like to see. 3 wide again.
Oh my goodness. Have a crack at it, boys.
On the grass. That is definitely risky, but we're not playing for sheep stations in the feature race, so why not have a go? Yeah, is that Sam Bracken in the Porsche there? He's pulled that off nicely. Oh, that is so close.
Love this good clean racing. GT4s are so much fun. I think you can get a little bit closer and you can... although it was brought up last night and mentioned that I think the collision model's been updated just a little bit. Especially in my battle with you, Bender, I thought we touched a couple of times that could have ended in very much death, and we got away with it. So I think they're right. I think there's a little bit of an update to the collision model that sees these cars not necessarily ping-ponging off each other, which is lovely.
Yeah, the collision model wasn't great when ACC first came out in early access. A slight tap to the rear and you just go off doing a 360 as F in chat for those little cone pylon things there. Get absolutely sent. But Ben Piper, his fastest laps coming through, 4 minutes 32. Well, hopefully we get some representative lap times this time around.
Good to see that some of these liveries are actually decent liveries. We're not hunting for livery of the week in this one because all of them are actually quite nice. Hopefully my mic's a bit better now. I pulled a Galaxy Brain move. As the tech wizard that I am, I pulled my mic a bit closer.
No, that's just next level solutions.
Big brain.
Probably didn't work though. We'll see. Chat will tell me. I'm sure I'll hear about it.
So Piper has held his lead that he gained for himself with his pole position. O'Donnell's had a great start, as has Nick Rodder. They've both picked up a couple of spots off the start. Sam Bracken and Simon Godowski rounding out the top 5 at the moment. We're on board with Adam Jarecki. Chasing down Charlie Mitchell, who has just come from a very nice AM class season. Oh, no, never mind. Hold forward.
Yeah, he was actually chasing down Rochford. Then Rochford had just gotten by him. Looked like Jarecki went for a bit of a wide berth around turn 4 to try and get a bit of exit speed, but I think he botched it a little bit and lost the exit speed, and then lost a place to Rochford, and that brings us to what we just saw. A little bit of sadness. I think the car's just got a little bit too close then. Oh, as we just see Bracken get nice and cozy with, I believe it was Rodder just up ahead. It was almost a little bit of contact, but it's play on umpire from here on out as he goes side by side with Gorovsky. He's going to hold that inside line. He's in a slightly dirty part of the track, but he finds the grippy stuff. He absolutely nails the exit just up ahead. Rodder's made an absolute mockery of the line that he took through there. Ran a little bit wide, took out a couple of the floppies, which I believe is technical term for those sticks that pop out.
Yep, that's what I'm running with.
Floppy on the left there.
So,
Yeah. There's a lot of corrections in the GT4s. They're not quite as sticky as the GT3s, I don't think. So you'll see a whole lot of hand switching happening. And as you said, the setups aren't quite nailed down either. So it'll certainly need some talent to get them around. So we get a little replay here of Jarecki giving a bit of how you do to, as you said, it was Rockford, wasn't it? And came off second best. And it looked like poor old track limits Matthews got the bad end of the stick there too, just ran straight into him, so unlucky for those boys. But I'm sure they'll fight back. That's an interesting line through there from Lee Perkins.
Yeah, a bit of corner cutting there by both of them. I think one of them just got the turn in a bit wrong, and the driver behind us just followed suit, thinking it was all fine and dandy, but he's defending himself in the grass as well.
I almost want a VSC here. Just a VSC for the front running guys and pull everyone at the back right back up and fight again. Just for fun, why not? We do that now. Some of our practice races, we've got too many cars that fall behind, so out, safety car, and we pull everyone up.
Wouldn't mind a little bit of behind catch up on these GT4 races.
look at this, moves on. Bracken, I think he's lost out 3, 2, at least 2. Who's up in the sticks there?
Rodder. That was Rodder that ran way out wide at the exit of the hairpin.
He's rejoined in front of Glenn here though. Just sneak down the inside. That's nice from Glenn to let him through there. And he left the door open and said, I'm not going to fight you for that. Rodder will be feeling the wear a little bit now after being out there. So Glenn maybe just biding his time. Oh, what's happened up here? Hang on a second.
Is that a...
That is it. It's a
safety
VSC.
car?
Surely it's a VSC. It's been called. There's been a safety car. We're going to let them all group up.
That's the most dangerous safety car I've ever seen in my life. Danger car. Danger car in 3, 2, 1 now.
I don't think Glenn was necessarily aware of it, and yeah, he certainly did well to avoid the back of, I think it was Bracken. No, it's Rodder in the green one.
Yeah, Rodder's the green one.
Gonna have to get that animation changed to danger car, please. That was yeah, that was a bit of code burn for Stimson then.
He did so well to avoid the back of him. He got it under control and then didn't put it in the wall either, so very nice reactions, Glenn.
So pro tip to those out there, safety car does not mean stop. It means slow down as well.
Oh, hang on, what is that? That's not safety at all.
That's Bracken, he's just looped it as the VSC has ended. That is truly unfortunate there.
Yeah, Bracken heaviest foot in OOR, unfortunately, just lit up the rears and yeah, sent himself straight into the wall.
Where's Scott Blair? Or rather, Scott Blair, he would appreciate that footage.
O'Donnell now in P2 chasing down Piper. The field has been closed up after that safety car. So we're going to get some good racing going on as we just see Gorovsky go a little bit wide, get out into the marbles there, but he has kept the car pointing in the right direction. So we'll carry on here. Seems like Piper might already be starting to run away with this one, and O'Donnell's going to come under fire from Gorovsky. Sorry, no, 7/10 separate O'Donnell and Piper, 7/10 separate O'Donnell and Gorovsky as well. Matthews makes a little bit of a mess coming through turn 4.
Using all the track limits there.
Yeah, that's not the racing line.
Not a bad team name.
I was going to say, does anyone have a crack at that team name from Stuart Matthews? That's very cheeky.
Let's go back to it. Let's have a look. Missed it.
I'll leave that one to chat to imagine what they think that one might be.
Oh, yeah. Malik with the shake of the head. Don't say it. No, leave it alone. Suboptimal Motorsports, though, they're from, who was that, Rochford?
We've had enough FZJ this week. We'll just try and keep that under wraps a little bit tonight.
Gorovsky had a little bit of a moment, went out to the grass just on the closing sector of this lap, but he still managed to keep it nice and tight on the rear of O'Donnell, only 3/10 the margin at the moment.
Love how close these cars are. Just love how close they can get, battle and stick with each other, and this is great racing so far.
I love this call. Linton Wills in the chat saying Bugden in the BP Ultimate livery as we cut to some carnage here. Contact between Lawson, Kranich, Jerky.
Nice.
He's just part for him.
Yep, that's what you get for being patient. Didn't try and slam on the throttle to get through there. He just waited to see what would happen and came out the victor. So nice work.
We jump back to live pictures. We're on board with Rochford, who is running second in this gaggle of cars. And I think there's 5 cars in this little train here. Perkins being the conductor of this one. He's under some pretty heavy pressure from Rochford. I think Rochford, he seems a bit confident about his position at the moment. I think he's only looking forwards. He's not really worrying about what's happening behind him. You can see he's poking the nose slightly more to the inside of the track just to try and see if there's an opportunity that surfaces, but it's not quite opening up for Perkins. He's keeping it quite consistent, which is helping his case at the moment. But Perkins is definitely working quite hard to keep this position.
Help me out. I know all the car symbols here except for the orange one. So there's an Audi, a Porsche, BMW, a McLaren, and is it a KTM, or what's that orange one?
That would be the Ginetta.
A little more information. Do we know what's the go with that car? Who makes that?
I can direct you to an excellent website that will have all the information for you. So just go into your browser and go www.google.com.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Braden. I'll go type it in right now.
You can use it for heaps of stuff. It's amazing.
Several years ago, and it's like, the website's like, let me Google that for you, and you just like link people that, and it's like, you can search it yourself.
I would do that, but I can't take my eyes off this racing. This is excellent to watch. Simon Gorovsky coming up behind his AV teammate Daniel O'Donnell. They won't want to make too much contact, but they won't be being nice too much either. Still 9 minutes to go, so Simon will be a little bit more patient through this sector at least. But they'll be looking, they'll be pushing, they'll be in a call together, and they'll be giving each other shit until the checkered flag, that's for sure. Simon also has Bracken behind him, putting a bit of pressure on him, so he might be asking O'Donnell to very kindly get a move on.
Yeah, Gorovsky's made a couple of mistakes of his own that led him to drop off from O'Donnell a little bit there. He was on the attack pretty heavily. O'Donnell is just a bit of an expert when it comes to planting the car in the middle of the circuit, though.
Hang on, it is Bracken in the green one. I thought it was Rodder in the green one, as we see the green one from Bracken go out a little bit wide there at turn 1. I think the timing board's just not updating quickly enough for me to get a grasp on who's running what.
Yeah, it's annoying how they only update every time you cross a sector line in ACC. But I can give you some information on Ginetta if you like, JC.
Yes,
So,
I'm ready.
Ginetta Cars Limited, also known as GCL, is a British specialist builder of racing and luxury sports cars based in Garforth, which is in Leeds, West Yorkshire. It's founded in 1958 and it's currently owned by Lawrence Tomlinson, the LNT Group.
Right, so they are their own thing. They're not a spin-off of some Peugeot or something.
They are their own entity.
I love it. Good on them. Never heard of them. I like
Pretty cool
it.
facts, Bender, but I feel like you've got better facts that aren't motorsport related.
I'm looking forward to tonight's Bender
Yes,
Facts. I don't know whether they're
you.
coming out now for the support race, but oh my goodness, I'm prepared.
And they're not coming out just yet.
Oh, that's
You
a bit of
see
send.
the hip and shoulder on the inside there.
And he's
exit
paid
stage-
for it in spades.
Yeah, exit stage left.
Love a bit of battling, but that's it's not come off for poor old Bracken there. But now we'll see these two running down to turn one together. This is Stimson and
Gorovsky,
I guess.
Well, that's deep.
Another safety car has been called, and in doing so, Stimson has said, all right, I'll go for a trip to the beach in the meantime. So we're going to have a 5-minute sprint to the end here. I'm just waiting for Lawson to catch up. He's way out the back. Piper won't mind this, I don't think. You know, some drivers maybe would say, hang on, I'm out here by 4 seconds. What's this safety car about? But no, I think he knows he's got the pace. He's pretty comfortable up there, so just keeping his tyres warm at the moment.
It's a feature race. It's for fun, just having a bash. We're not, you know, claiming race wins or tallying points or anything. It's just, you know, letting everyone have a bit of a go around in the GT4s, have some cool battles, and provide a bit of entertainment as a curtain raiser for the Pro Finals.
I mean, by the way some of these guys are racing, you'd think there would be for points. You'd think it'd be a title decider here.
Yeah, no one's told them that. Couple of big sends. No, we love it.
That's a pretty sorry looking Porsche for Bracken right there. You can clearly see a lot of damage on it, and I hear that the Porsche does not do too well when it has a little bit of damage. It's quite a handful when there's the smallest amount of damage on a Porsche.
So, yeah, very good sport this, letting them all catch up and group together. That's perfect. We've got, as I said, about a 5-minute sprint to the end now. Piper still out the front. Yellow gloves and a purple car. Not sure how I feel about that, but you do you. Be gentle, it's my first time. Certainly doesn't look like it. Benjamin, out there in the front, doing very well for yourself, mate. So it'll be Piper, and then O'Donnell, Stimson, Gorovsky, and Bracken in the top 5. The sprint runners until the end. You would think that they are best positioned for a run at the win here.
Looks like we're going green. Yeah, Piper's shot off straight away as soon as he's seen green. He's taken off into the distance, caught O'Donnell sleeping a little bit there. O'Donnell is going to come under fire from Stimson here, who's been looking pretty pacey. He just hasn't had the consistency there to make it happen. Just jumped in the field, Mitchell at the moment. Sandwich between Perkins and Rochford at the moment. Look on the inside, just showing his nose. No intent of making a move there, but just letting Perkins know that he's here, and he's not going to make it easy for him. Here we are, on board with Bracken at the moment. Is that Gorovsky?
It's close
A
to.
little touch, play on. Yeah, he's certainly not going to die trying, is he, old Bracken? He's got a fairly damaged Porsche, but he's not done yet. It is indeed Gorovsky he's having a little look at, who runs a little bit wide there. Oh, and again, Gorovsky
that's a
gets all
save.
sorts of- yeah, it's a great save, but he might have cost himself a bit of time. Bracken will stick his nose up the inside. He is far up enough alongside. It's going to come off poorly. Again, Bracken, unfortunately, has come off second best and will find his way into Mr. Barry again. Unlucky Sam. And he still can't quite keep it going straight. So you're right. I think that Porsche's got a fair bit of damage, and it must be hurting it more than some of the cars. He's just having a fair bit of trouble with that.
Yeah, I think a bit of grass on the tyres wouldn't have helped this case then either. Would have made it a lot harder to just get on the throttle as hard as it is. We see O'Donnell run wide into the stand. He's going to lose a position to Stimpson here. Looks like he's going to be able to hold on to the podium position as he runs wide into the marbles, trying to recollect himself. Yeah, Stimpson has just got to keep it clean from here on out. He should be able to secure himself that P2 position. And jump on board with Bugden. He's chasing down Rochford, who's just run a little bit wide coming from turn 3. A lot of cars having a hard time keeping it on the ideal racing line here, running wide into a lot of corners. Brands Hatch, not really a circuit that you want to run wide anywhere, because you run wide here, you hit the grass, and good luck getting back onto the track when you've got 2 wheels out on grass. I've compared it to, I don't know if anyone used to ride a push bike when they were younger, but riding a push bike and you get that weird thing where you go to the side of the footpath and for some reason you can't just turn back onto the footpath and you've got to bail out. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but that's what it's like getting onto the grass here.
I can relate to that, yep. I mean, if there's any young kids in chat these days, let us know if you rode a push bike when you were a kid, or is everything, you know, just about iPads and
electric
tablets.
motor scooters and stuff now, isn't it?
Whatever it is these days.
They are cycling. Why
Yep,
go outside when you got the world in a headset?
See those the skateboards with little motors on them now, and you got a lot of handheld control, and you don't have to push them at all. You just sort of roll around. Anyway, none of my business. I can't skateboard on a normal skateboard, let alone an electric one. But anyway, we've got a minute to go here, so probably 2 laps to go, and we're seeing plenty of side-by-side action still.
This is the last lap.
You reckon it's the last one? You're probably right.
Yep.
I'm going to bow to you because I always get that wrong with these bloody countdown timers. You're right. We're on the last lap. Piper's going to run away with it. He's got 3-second gap unless he makes a pretty significant mistake. You'd think he'll clean up. And Stimpson's also got a bit of a gap after O'Donnell beached it a couple of laps ago. But we're watching Lee Perkins here at the moment. He's doing pretty well side by side, I think, with Matthews. And the two of them will get a run up to... No, never mind. Stimpson will... Sorry, Matthews will fall in behind. Perkins will fall in behind. I'm having trouble. Save me. I'm getting all this crap out now before the pros come out. Oh, that's wide.
Matthews running wide. Matthews running wide. He's lost 3 positions from that. Classic push bike moment.
Nice work, Benjamin. Bring it home, mate. Give us a flash. Wiggle your wheel. I don't know, whatever you want to do to celebrate. That's a nice work from you, mate. Dominated qualifying. Having a flash. Brought it home. P1. Nice and easy.
Oh, fastest lap of the race on the last lap too.
Grand Slam? No, not quite. Glenn Simpson, P2. Nice and consistent from him. Nothing special, but P2, that's what you get for being nice and clean. Daniel O'Donnell, P3. Simon Gorowski, P4, right behind his AV teammate with Charlie Mitchell, our M-Class protege from just coming out of racing last night, by the way. Charlie Mitchell, he had a very good race in the Pro-Am finals after being invited from his M-Class escapades and puts it in P5 in the feature race. Nice work, Charlie.
Yeah, just touching on that, when is the last lap question you had. So if the timer hits 0, there are no more laps. Last night in our race, the timer hit 0, and I think it was about 3/10 after it hit 0, I crossed the line. So I had white flag for 3/10, crossed the line. Wasn't able to do any celebratory wiggling or flashing or anything because I just didn't react. I think I drove half a lap, like still questioning whether the race was still on or not. Until I saw that I had the little checkered flag next to my name. But yeah, if there's not enough time left on the clock to get across the line before it hits 0, that will be the last lap.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I think the official race time was 60 minutes and 0.4 of a second or something. I was like, gee, that's cutting it fine if you were trying to... I didn't know if you were bailing. I'm like, that's cutting it fine if you wanted to avoid doing one more lap or something.
Yeah, no, I was glad. The thought did cross my mind of not letting it go longer, but at the same time I couldn't slow down. There was nowhere to slow down. T-Mac and Van Vliet were too heavy on me. I had to just race as hard as I could, so I got lucky wherever I lost 3/10 on that lap, I'm glad I did, because it may have secured me the win. My tyres were pretty destroyed. I was getting pressure loss in the rears, so it was pretty hard to handle the Bentley.
We will be absolutely blessed if we have some battles as close as the one that you had last night. For the entirety of the race, so I was watching the stream back, and you three were bumper to bumper most of the race. It was just great to watch. The camera didn't have to move because it was always exciting. So if we get anything like that tonight with our pro class drivers, I'm super excited for this.
Oh, it'd be an absolute pleasure to watch. To actually do it, it was an absolute nightmare. I don't want to put myself through that ever again. I was having a chat to Bokita and Andy not long after the race and said, "Is that what you guys have to deal with? Because I don't like that. That's not nice."
I want to know if they get used to that. I want to know, because I'd be the same as you, sweating bullets if I had to hold on for a P1. I think you said it was your maiden P1 too, is that right?
Correct.
Like your literal ever first P1, and you got it in a Pro-Am final, so that's a great effort for you, Braden. Well done.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
might be a night to wear tracksuit pants.
you would have been sweating. Especially in Melbourne, it's been very sticky here in Melbourne, so you would have been very
It's
sweaty.
quite moist.
It's gone back a fair way, but back in the old F1 days when I actually used to be good, I can confirm this. Yes, you do
Right,
get
right.
used to battling at the front. Yes, you do get used to the pressure and fighting for wins, podiums, for laps on end of holding people off.
Must be nice. Well, I look forward
Oh,
to...
it's been years since I've been there, mate, so what are the kids saying these days? I guess that's washed or something, you know?
I'm going to try and keep that out of the comms. I'm not having that tonight. Let's try and avoid the washed and the creased and the decadent. Decadent's a good word.
If anyone knows washed up, it's me.
No,
What's
mate, you're
wrong with decadent?
P1. Nah, decadent's a good word.
I know, I'm talking about my previous career.
Oh, nah, as I said to you, mate, I still listen to that album.
Where's my royalties?
Nothing washed about it. Well, you just haven't plugged many laundry detergent advertisements with it yet. That's all.
Nah, I actually got a royalty payment about 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, "Wow, how much is this going to be?" I never hyped myself up anymore. It was $4. Don't spend it all at once.
Hang on, nice work.
Yeah,
Career
so
successful.
Spotify royalties aren't a whole lot these days, unfortunately, and that's pretty much all we get.
I'm not sure what you saw, Malik. Did anyone else see some form of screen glitch or something that's got Miles' attention? He's interested in something. I didn't see it. But we've had a... Sorry, you go.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say we should probably get down to business. We've had the first few cars come through for their flying laps. Currently sitting in P1 O'Hara, not surprisingly, with the 33.5. I dare say we're going to be getting into the 32s with some of these names that we have on the grid here. I would say we're probably going to see a low 32 because yeah, some of these drivers are just insane. Bokita as well, only 800ths of O'Hara's time, so it's pretty tight just on those opening flyers, just on those bankers. We still have just over 7.5 minutes to go in qualifying, so we'll see how this all unfolds.
Yeah, we're
Also,
also...
by Bokita as well, being in that McLaren. I hear the McLaren is not the ideal car to be in at the moment, particularly around this circuit, since the physics change.
Nah, I'm going to contest that, and I'm going to say it was actually really nice to drive, because we were lucky, obviously, we got to drive it pre-patch and post-patch, and the McLaren had, I think it was 15 or 20 kilos taken out of it for this track, and the difference was noticeable. So you're right, it's certainly still not its strongest track by any means, but the McLaren has plenty of strong tracks, and Bokita's obviously very, very good in that car. So, that's not ideal. That curb there, that outside curb, if you get onto it, it just pulls you off track.
Yeah, it's barely even a cheese grater curb. It's like it's just a pile of boulders curb.
It is just terrible, isn't it?
And your tyres are done. It really only takes one visit to that curb to start getting a slow leak in the rear left.
But you can see the McLarens, going back to what I was saying, that we had a couple of McLarens in the top 9 in qualifying last night. And there's a couple filling the top spots now, so it's not weak here anymore, I don't think. It's just a very strong car overall. And
There you go.
I honestly
Bentley.
can't believe it got buffed that much, to be honest.
Sonikas, fastest in the Bentley, 33.4. Also, as people have noted in chat, rip that tyre bollard.
Yeah, it didn't take long for that bollard to disappear last night. I'll happily take I suppose not bets, but I'll take opinions on when people think that tyre bollard's going to disappear in the pro race. I think
Lap
it might
one.
last a couple of laps.
Lap 1.
I'm going to say 3.
Too optimistic, mate.
So here comes
Cheetah
Pepita.
here.
Yeah, I'm
Up
interested to see.
half a second.
Yeah, this is nearly a 32, isn't it?
This is 32. Oh, 33.1.
So
Close.
the tyres take a little bit warmer, a little bit longer to warm up, but they're getting there now. So with 5 minutes to go. So this is interesting, right? I'm interested to know whether they pull in. This is a 10-minute qualifying. Do they pull in now? Is Bakita done? Or is she fueled up enough to do another lap or two because the tyres take longer? Are they doing it in 2 5-minute stints? I just don't think the tyres are going to get to the window in the 5 minutes. So they might have to do sort of 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's a 2 lap minimum to get the tyres into the window around this circuit. That banker lap, you're really still kind of trundling around, just getting them up to temperature. Yeah, you take the banker lap, but it's absolutely not going to be your fastest just because you're taking it so gentle. Like, I'd avoided the curbs even on the second lap through and just nurse them until you get to that 3rd lap, and then you can start going hard. As we see Dan Hunter going a little bit too
Bang.
hard.
That's a
through
big hit
turn
against the
1.
wall.
Ran a little bit wide and just lost the rear on the grass, and he's found the wall, returned to pits. He's got 4.5 minutes left, so there is time for him to get out, and he'll probably have 1 solid flying lap once he's got those tyres in the window.
He'd done pretty well with a 33.5, chuck it up there in P5, I think he was. But then, yeah, just obviously a little bit overcommitted in turn 1. And so he will be forced into the 6-minute, 4-minute strat. He's back in pits. He'll get a fresh set of tyres, maybe take some fuel out and have another crack. On board with Megan D now and another McLaren. She loves this car, and she got the setup pretty well dialed in pretty early in the last 7 days. So not sure how much practice she's had, but she'll be looking for. I think she'll be looking for something a little bit spicier than P10. But in this field, oof, I don't envy her trying to crack into the top 10, let alone anywhere near the top. Goodness gracious, so many big names.
Got to say, this Megan D's livery has probably been one of my favourite liveries this season. I hate coloured rims, but I think she's tied them in quite nicely with this colour scheme, and I'm a big fan of the pastel pink and pastel blue.
Yep.
The bubblegum vibe.
I agree. They when she runs the endurance events as well, I think it's the Worn Tyre Tribe, and they've got a nice livery they run too. It's the white one with the pink and the blue, and again it's nothing bright, but it stands out. It's good. Oh, that's
Sneakers.
the same thing. Paige puts in the top lap with a 32.8, and then the turn 1 just a little overcommitted there and gets around. So he too will return to pits and potentially have another crack at 1 more lap.
Yeah, he got a little bit excited after he saw that lap time. And, I think he was just looking at the lap time like, "Ooh, I've set a 32," and probably missed his breaking point. As we jump on with Callum Gibbons, who's currently just over 2/10 up, crosses the line, puts himself into P14. He is 1 second off the top spot at the moment, so that was line 33 that we just saw him set. We're following Young around 2. If I'm not mistaken, he added an upgrade from Pro-Am to Pro mid-season.
Yes, he did.
I believe he also had his maiden win throughout this season as well.
I want to say yes, he definitely won a race.
It's been a pretty
Yeah,
good
I'm not too
season
sure
for
if
him.
with his first one. If it wasn't, then yeah, please correct me. But yeah, first time I'd seen the man win a race. He's currently keeping it quite even. He's up at the moment. So we just jump over to Lando, who's 3/10 up, just coming out of the last corner, loses a little bit of time on the exit, crosses the line, puts himself up to P5, just jumps in front of Dan Hunter there. Andy O'Hara at the moment, P7. He's gonna have to pull something out of his hat.
Just relax, mate. There's still 2 minutes to go.
Just relax. Andy will be on pole. Don't worry.
Guy called Andrew. He's apparently pretty good at sim racing.
We just jump on board with him now. He's currently 7/10 off P1, and he is only 1/10 up on his personal best.
Yeah, he was
He's going to have
2/10
another lap after this one, but he's going to have to go full send and make sure he gets it right if he wants to make any kind of improvement.
Has said that the patch has really hurt the Ferrari, and it's in the notes, but you take it from the man himself. If he reckons this is just not quite as quick as it used to be, then you got to believe it, and it's proving on the timetables at the moment. So Yeah, as you said, only gaining sort of a tenth on that lap. Might not even grab him a spot. Might just sneak him one. He replaces Dan Hunter in P7, but yeah, hopefully he's got another lap in him here.
It'd be good to see in the patch notes one day. We've nerfed Andy.
Here's Pip, another 3/10 up. She's loving life in the McLaren. Absolutely loves this car, and as you said, it's not particularly strong here, but she is up there in P3. The Bentley's obviously quite strong, 1 and 2 for those boys, but yeah, Pip doing very well, looking for a 32 here, I think. She gets this last corner right. Straightens up on exit, and I think that was very close to being invalidated. That was so close to the edge, but she will gain 2/10 and find herself in the 32s, but still behind the Bentley of Senekis. So Peach has done pretty well with his time up there, 32.8, and Pip couldn't quite get her.
Well, she does have a chance one more lap if she's got the fuel. She crossed the line with 10 seconds to go, so we'll keep an eye on that. But look at this, 3/10 up. Across the line, goes 4th, and he's less than a 10th off pole.
Goodness
4th,
gracious.
and he's less than a 10th off pole. You would be spewing.
Yeah, it's super tight between P2, P3, and P4 at the moment. There's only 3,000 separating Bokita and who was it sitting? Hignett in P3. So O'Hara just up to P5.
Yeah, he did improve, but couldn't find the 5/10 to join the 1 second club. All those boys up there, sorry, 1/10 club. The boys and girls up there 1/10 around each other. O'Hara couldn't quite join that club, but he is top of the rest in P5. Ben Floyd in his Lexus. This is a beautiful sounding car. This has got to be my favourite sounding car, I reckon.
That's a big jump. It's going to be good enough for possibly jumping himself up into the top 10.
Definitely top 10. I think that's top 6, top 7. If he keeps it together, which he has.
Man, P7. Well calculated. Galaxy Brain Cornboy over here.
Yeah, got the abacus out for that one.
And Juong just doing sick things into turn 1 at the end of the session, just for fun, because why not? We can do this. We don't have to spend money on damaged cars. The Seneca lining up on pole. That was a 32.8. Did he set? It was a high 32.
Yeah, 30. It was, yep, 32.882 or something like that. Very nice lap. Very nice lap.
Didn't quite get to the low 32s that I predicted. Now I feel like an idiot. I feel like some of these drivers were capable of doing it in the hot lap server after grinding a little bit. But in a 12-minute quali session, there's only so much you can do. So I think was Seneca the... Oh no, so there were 4 drivers that made it into the 32s then, all high 32s. So just to remind everyone how this race is working, it is a 1-hour race. There is going to be 2 mandatory pit stops. You must take tyres on both stops. Fuel is optional, so you can run a full load of fuel at the start of the race if you like. I wouldn't recommend it though. It's probably better just to run out on a third of a tank and just set some blistering laps and then serve your pit stop, make sure it's efficient as possible, do it again, serve your pit stop, do it again, and hopefully you win. We ever get confirmation on where in the world Moritz is? Where are you, Moritz?
Yeah, Germany.
Oh, Germany. There you go. Germany.
Deutschland.
So 15 seconds until we start our formation lap, and we're going to see this safety car launch from the back of the field, make it into P1 by turn 1. Very impressive by the safety car. Does it every single week. Jack gets a great start.
The
do you know who's in the safety car this evening?
Rory Sweet was running it last night. Mr. Sweet.
I'm glad he didn't have a busy night. Helped me.
Yeah, it was quite subdued last night, wasn't there? I think there was only 4 incidents in the stewards channel afterwards, and you know the stewards applauded us for what was a pretty clean race, which around this track you would suggest is almost unheard of. So we of course.
No. Piece of cake. If the Pro-Ams can have a clean race and a clean start around Alton Park, then the pros are just going to be absolutely magnificent. This is
that sounds like a commentator.
It's going to be as clean. It's going to be absolutely perfect. I'm looking forward to the cleanest race I've ever seen.
Every single car, mark my words, will finish this race with no damage.
Oh, but now you've just ruined it.
Just a little bit of tyre wear from how hard they're pushing, but other than that, nary a scrape.
I was very glad, personally, last night there were no safety cars. Obviously being a lap down for, what felt like forever until the last 10 minutes. As race control showing its alter ego there, bring back Mullock. Who's this Mullock guy? Have you guys heard of him before?
He can be here if he wants. He obviously doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want a bar of us.
Certainly not in the Discord. Haven't seen him around, no. Hello, Hobbsy. Hope you're very well. I heard you're recovering from something. I hope you're doing well, mate. Good to have you in chat. Safety car lap 1 from Craigdale. That's a big call.
Oh, there you go. Pineapple, heart, and peach emojis from race control. This is a good moment before we get into the pro finals. Obviously, it's a professional broadcast here, but it wouldn't be an OOR stream without a banter fact. So climate change is actually making albatrosses more likely to divorce from their lifelong mating partner due to habitat destruction. So
you're saying everyone named Albert Ross?
Yes, everyone named Albert Ross along with the birds albatrosses.
Or as you see him on the timing screens, A. Ross. A little bit better than B. Ross and C. Ross.
Yeah, he's a pro. So
I'm glad you saved that. Oh, goodness. Let's go. Take us away.
JC, take it.
Race 1 of 1. Pro finals. 1 of 3, I guess, is what you would call it. Round 1 of 3 here at Alton Park. Senekis will lead us away, and Bakita's she's right up alongside. She's not leaving anything to chance. They'll get a green light. And Bakita has got a bit of a jump, but the Bentley of Senekis will take the inside line and consolidate P1. But there's a death straight away. Bang. Never in doubt. Anyway, we'll carry on. O'Hara's cleaned up nicely. He's picked up a little position here. We'll look out the back of him as he's followed along by Lamb, who also has made a couple of nice little positions. Not sure who that was dying out in the background. Car 4, unlucky to you, F in chat. We head down. There's still a long lap to go. There's still plenty more death to be had. Don't worry about that. Ben Floyd and his Lexus on the way down to the carousel. Love this. Oh, there's a little escapade out in the grass there. What looks to be... I don't think it's Dan Hunter in the Porsche, the one behind him, but that's okay. Carry on. Just talking about the carousel and how cambered that corner is. Absolutely love chucking the car into there and just watching it go around. Love this chicane too. It's just it's very tricky to get out of this chicane with lots of good speed, and if you don't, you get swallowed up, as we see back in the field there. A couple of little 2x2s, but this is Megan D we're on board with, getting followed by Daniel Hunter into the second chicane, and this very tricky right-handed that we were also not going to see. Who we got here? Bakita's on her. She's lost out. No, she's still PT behind Janekis Senekis. Janekis Senekis is his new name that I've just butchered. Nice work, Pip. Very good opening lap from you. Burst has done pretty well up there in P3, and O'Hara has absolutely cleaned up a couple of cars instantly and has joined the front runners in P4. In what is a lovely Ferrari, really, by the way. That's very nice for the Ferrari. Nice opening lap 1. Only a couple of little deaths, not too bad, nothing serious, and certainly no safety car. So F in chat for your prediction, Craig Dale. We'll watch Ben Hignett come around, who's lost out on lap 1, unfortunately. He's lost a couple of positions after starting P2, I think it was. But now we get to watch the beautiful smooth movements of Bakita in her McLaren as she chases down Pigeon Jonas Senekis. It's okay to not be okay. Great message, Pip.
We've seen a couple of cars jump into the pits already. The likes of John Senekis and Sean Madison both jumped into the pits. I dare say they were caught up in lap 1 incidents. Getting that all sorted and just going to try and chase Delta for a majority of this race and see if they can make some kind of recovery. There's also Ashton Reynolds and Ralahai in the pits. Ralahai, yeah?
I'm going to stick with Ralahi. I don't know. We probably should ask the man, but I'm going to stick with Ralahi. Raleigh? Maybe? Anyway, carry on.
Well, I've always said Rahi, and he's never raised any issues in chat when I've said it, so I figure it's all right.
So we did see a couple of early cars in the pits there. We've got 2 pit stops, 2 complete. So, but it's always painful getting one of those out of the way really early because you don't really want to carry too much fuel around this really tight technical track, and unfortunately that's what they've been forced into doing. So I think there was 4 or 5 cars that had gone for an early pit stop. They will have plenty of clean track, hopefully, to make some of that time back, but how much you can gain is really dependent on how much fuel you've got. And as I said, it's a big fuel tank. It's a big full tank is going to really cost you around, especially this corner here. It's a lovely corner, though. This little downhill. It's very tricky, that little downhill left-hander. We'll get a replay at the start here. So it was Senekis, I think, just not quite up to speed on the start, and Bakita nearly got her into P1, but that's Raleigh getting the nose end of his car into the barrier after a little touch at turn 1, so unfortunate for him.
Yeah, I just had my eyes glued to Dan Hunter on that replay as well. He had a pretty eventful turn 1. He was squeezed onto, I'm not too sure if he was squeezed, but he ran into the grass on the inside of the circuit. And when he returned, had a little bit of wheel banging, went back out onto the grass and really had to save the car. So pretty eventful for him. But he's kept it going. He's currently P11, I believe. Just watching a replay here of Kieran Potter. Just put
Oh dear. Oh no, we didn't see that live. Oh dear.
So that's Samwise Holmes that's collected him in the Audi, and then I believe it may have been Chertovets that has cleaned him up as well after that.
So that's why we saw a few cars getting into the pits. They're not just going for tyres or anything, they're cleaning up some damage. That's unlucky for those guys. That's a big lap 1 incident, or perhaps lap 2.
It looks like a few of them are going to be lapped down as well, which makes the race just a little bit harder. We've got blue flags ticketing with there. Look at this, coming right out into the middle of the leading pack. Sinu, fastest lap bar race leader. Still only half a second ahead of Bakita so far.
Samwise Holmes picked up a drive-through penalty. He's just jumped into the pits to obviously fix up all that damage. I assume he may have broken the speed limit coming into the pits as well. Speed limit detection is a lot more sensitive since the last patch.
So that's terrible for Samwise. He'll drop right down to the back of the field, and he'll have a lot of work to do to recover for this race. So good luck to him, Samwise. Beautiful commentary last night. Absolutely one of the best broadcasts I've watched last night, but unfortunately not coming off tonight.
I've just jumped on board with Dan Hunter, who's chasing down Legal D at the moment. He had a bit of a shocker in qualifying, so I'm curious to see if he can make some kind of recovery in the race. He'll have to make a few overtakes to make that recovery, and this circuit is not easy to overtake on. There are not many opportunities. It's a very twisty, turny track, pretty narrow track as well. Also, the line, the racing line just provided. Oh, Sting
that is
sideways with the rear.
drifting it, Daniel. Very nice.
That was sick. Does save us. Play on umpire. Yeah, very hard track to overtake on. Once you go offline, once you're off the grippy stuff, it's not easy to maintain the kind of pace that'll reward you. There we go, Samwise. That drive-through has been converted to a 10-second penalty for speed naked.
Who was that? Parked on the pit straight. Must have been a blue flag car, surely.
Your eye's better than mine. Didn't see that one. Daniel Hunter really wringing the neck of this Porsche that he's driving, and Megan D feeling the pressure. A couple of little battles developing. That's death as well.
Yeah, that's Chertovets.
Oh, that's a little nudge there.
Baldwin, I believe.
So, yeah, a couple of little battles developing, and the pros just showing the pro-ams how an exciting bumper-to-bumper race is supposed to be, and not giving each other an inch of room.
No, sorry, just correction. That was Chernobyl, and it was just sorry, Corey Sweet in the Lexus that had a bit of contact there. So that might be a little bit of a harsh penalty coming Bart's way, being a blue flag in that situation. But yeah, as I said, it's a narrow circuit, so he's trying to be the best blue flag he can while this car's already going side by side, battling next to him.
We saw some great examples of blue flag drivers and how they can get out of the way last night, didn't we, bro?
Yes, I did see that from you, Bender. You were fantastic.
Oh, that was me. Oh, thank you.
No, there was actually some super courteous blue flags last night. There was a number of drivers that actually just left the track and just went out onto the grass to let the leading three through, which didn't help my case. But yeah, it was nice of them not to impede any of us. Like, that was just good sportsmanship, I suppose, just to kind of throw their own race in the bin, just to make sure ours is as good as it can be.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want a battle for the lead decided, you know, becoming a battle between two instead of three because one person got held up by blue flags.
Absolutely action-packed first 10 minutes. Still a long way to go. How exciting.
Yeah, if you're on tyre watch, they're still there. Lap 6, here we go.
That's a great call. Forgot about that.
Floppy on the inside of that corner there is gone though.
So how does, well, we know that Bakita's probably, unless obviously Peach makes a mistake, I don't expect Senecas to make that bad of an error that Bakita gets past. So how does it happen? Is it an overcut or an undercut?
Well, it seems like both can be pretty powerful. It just really depends on the driver and how they're outlapping in that bar. Just by looking at the race last night. Yeah, so I suppose it's just how efficient can you be stopping on the blocks in the pits, because that can cost you upward of 3 seconds if you get it all wrong. So there's that incident.
There's
with
that
Bart.
incident again, replay that.
So that's Bart and Corey Sweet. Just jumping over Corey Sweet to get his vision of it. Yeah, it's a hard one to judge.
It is just because the track's so narrow, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah, it really does seem like Bart was doing his best to just not be in the way.
Not really the best place to let people through though, is it? In a fast, the outside exit of a fast left-hander.
I mean, how much choice did he have? He had the whole field coming up behind him at a blistering pace.
Yeah.
He'd already let one person through, lost his momentum, and then there's just a barrage of drivers coming through still with their momentum, just trying to get past, trying to find their way through. I think Bart did the best he could. But yeah, obviously just didn't play in his hands. Looks like Corey was just taking his ideal racing line, tried to keep the car going left just to try and thread the needle because there was a car space there, but it just wasn't enough, unfortunately. I think Bart may have had a little room on the right that he could have used. But yeah, obviously no malice in it. Just an honest error. I'm very, very hard at the moment. He's chasing down Burrs and that BMW Car 420. O'Hara is he'll be a bit confused at the moment. He won't be able to read what position he's in because that's not a number he's ever seen in his life. As we just see Hignett cross the line and steal that fastest lap of Sneakers, who's maintained fastest lap throughout this race up until then.
With a 33.0, if you don't mind, that's some very rapid race pace from Hignett. So
yeah, it just goes to show the difference in class between the pros and the Pro-Ams. Pro-Am fastest lap last night was a 33.7. Sneakers set that on lap 2.
Yep. Yeah, you're not wrong. I was looking at some of those qualifying times and just envious. Envious.
You see John Sneakers has jumped into the pits and served his second pit stop already. So not too sure if he's had another problem or if he's going to play the Bender strat and go for a 50-minute stint on one set at a time.
The Bender strat from last night, isn't it? Yeah.
But it wasn't my preferred strategy outcome. It just kind of happened. Wasn't great. Tires were pretty good until like the last 10-15 minutes when they died.
I mean, it is completely unlike you to pit early. Usually you are the last of the late pitters.
Last one, yeah.
It goes to show how hard it is to overtake on this track, because I could not find a way past you, mate. On those, I can tell you were struggling on them, There was just nowhere to get you. So very nice work holding on last night, that's for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, pressure loss obviously is a thing. Probably more so for these guys than it was for me. I only had it a couple of times. I think it was one left rear, one right front. But the new update and the handling model really have to be gentle bringing the tyres in. You can get punished for overdriving them early. And if you've made 2 stops already, you go a bit hard after this stop. You'll be paying the price later on.
We've just seen Michael Young come into the pits. That's the first pitter of the people who haven't really had an issue in the race so far. So it looks like he's just gonna try and find some clear air, see if he can make an undercut work. We won't see the top few drivers pit until for the next 7 minutes or so. I think they'll push it out and just try and make the rubber last as efficiently as possible. Samwise Holmes down in P21. He just runs a little bit wide on the grass there. He's just trying to recover this race as best he can after the horrible start. Currently sitting in P22, correction there, after the timing sheets have updated. So Hignett still holding on to that fastest lap. He's keeping O'Hara honest.
Yep, and building a bit of a gap to land behind him too, so definitely got the pace, Hignett. And as I said, qualifying P2, he's no slouch in that Bentley. He'll be looking to make those spots back. But imagine trying to get past O'Hara. Goodness gracious. At Alton, by the way. Goodness gracious. That's why I said before, is it going to be an undercut or an overcut? It's probably not going to be on track. But you can see he's pushing to the limit. I think he was off the track back there, and then he's off the track again there, so he's not leaving anything behind. It's amazing how well the Bentley handles off-track escapades, by the way. Just no worries. That's fine. Part of the track. Carry on.
Yeah, he's pushing really hard. O'Hara as well, obviously driving at the best of his ability. I think the only time throughout the season that he lost positions was due to an incident involving a blue flag. So the people he was racing with were always clean racing, and he was with them, and didn't really make any errors of his own. So extremely proficient driver, and to have him really back again and keeping him honest, it's got to feel pretty good for you, to be honest.
Riding along with Corey into the carousel. As I said before, just love that. Look at that, that's a great angle too. Just see all the camber and you just throw the car in there, but it's bloody deadly if you don't get it in the camber. If you, lo and behold, you try and overtake someone around the outside there, because it just flings you out straight in the fence. There's actually a few corners like that where if you're not on the racing line, you're not having a good time.
We've just seen someone on the exit of the second last corner, that big sweeper. I think they've lost it there and absolutely destroyed the car, because they were a yellow dot for a moment halfway down the straight, and they returned straight to the pits. So a lot of damage for whoever's just returned to the pits there.
Yes, it's gone quickly. Almost, we're just past a quarter race distance. 45 minutes to go, 15 down. And look at these gaps. This is what you love to see. You know, less than a second. Top 3 each. You know, 1.8, 1.5. Top 5 covered by about 5 seconds. Anyone could still win this race.
Yeah, well, they're the best of the best. They are some of the highest quality drivers, not just in OOR, but in OOR, AP, or OCE as well. I was trying to spit out there. So it's just a pleasure to watch them. I always say in the special events like our Kyalami 9 hour or the Silverstone 12 hour, it's the same sort of thing there, where you get to see the best drivers pitted against each other. But in those, you know, there's teams involved, and some of the best drivers might be on each other's team, so they're not really actually racing against each other, and you might not see a battle between Bakita and O'Hara because their stints are different. Whereas this is what we're looking for and looking forward to all season. The pro finals are just something to behold. Absolutely love watching these, and it's a real pleasure to be here with you, Braden and Bender, calling this one.
You're so sweet. Must be that Christmas spirit.
Yeah, the Christmas spirit's flying through you, JC.
No, none of that. No, I'm a Grinch. I'm not in for that. No, it's nothing to do with Christmas. This is the Christmas of sim racing. We call it that. No, we get it 4 times a year. So how good's that?
He's quite nice. we've seen Dan Hunter pick up a 5-second penalty. He's taken his first pit stop. He is the lead runner of everyone who has pitted. That 5-second was for a collision on lap 7. I believe he may have just had a little more bargy with the drivers around, just having a little bit of a battle. And obviously, may have been a little bit too aggressive somewhere, so he's picked up that 5 seconds for that. Hignet also has 5 seconds as well, which is notable. I think he has that gap on Lamb though, so his position isn't under threat. No, he does not have that margin on Lamb. He's at 3.8 behind, so at the moment, if it were to finish as it is, which it won't because it's 42 minutes to go, he would lose that position to that.
Tell you what, Paquita got an exit on Senecas there. We've got the best angle of it. Senecas holds down the inside line and there's just nowhere to overtake. So even though Paquita got a pretty good exit, I don't know whether Senecas made a mistake in the chicane previous. There's just nowhere to do it. And yeah, Lucas is just going to close up behind these two and enjoy the little bit of extra space that he's made up as we watch Mr. Ashland Reynolds get all sorts of Tokyo drifty, and unfortunately he can't hold it together. And
there we go. That'll be that incident I was talking about before. He's just returned straight to pits because his damage would have been a little bit too wild on that car. Yeah, as we jump back on board with Burrs, who is currently flying on the wall.
Senecas pitting. Here we go. So this is where it all kicks off. So Paquita now has a bit of space, and Lucas will be hanging on for dear life trying to keep up with her in fresh air. So does Paquita respond this lap, or does she try for the overcut? Does she say, I'm actually a little bit quicker than Paige, I think, and I'm going to tear away and do maybe another 3 or 4 laps with the petrol I've got left and try and create an advantage and gap Paige via the pit stop. So this will be a very interesting next couple of minutes.
I think so much depends on track position and where you come out after pitting. I mean, if you come out in traffic, it's losing time. But if you come out in clear air, I think you'll be fine.
Oh, Burrs gets sideways coming through the first chicane. He does save it, but he's lost all that time to Bokita, and that'll be a little bit of a breath of fresh air for Bokita just to kind of run away with this one and not have to worry about the rear view mirror.
Breathing down his neck too. Goodness gracious, I wouldn't want that. Anyway, just watching Peach come out of the pits in the... Oh, he's come up next to his brother. So they will be on the radio next to each other. Oh, surely they're not going to battle each other into it. Surely you let him go. Their race is not with each other. I would expect one John to let the other John go. John being Jean-Pierre.
Indicator on.
He's come on, bro, let me go, and he has done. So, Jesus, that could have been worse. If that was anyone else, it's probably blessed that he did come out next to him because he has let him through. But goodness, I thought that was going to be a bit of a brotherly fisticuffs there.
Yeah,
anyway,
could have easily turned into a post-race fraternal punch-on.
No Christmas cards coming for those two.
So Burrs is in.
Burrs is in, but Paquita has importantly stayed out. She's going for a little extra run.
As we just saw John Senecas miss a braking point on the approach to his brother and has just run all the way off track. Has he stopped off track? He has come to a halt. May not have put fuel in the car.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Did he just disconnect from the server?
Possible. Maybe the fraternal punch-on's coming on a
no.
little bit earlier than post-race. If we see, JP's
the house.
wiggle.
Maybe Paige knew he was coming out of the pits. He went over there and disconnected his computer or something. I don't know what's happened there. I think they live down the road. We get a replay of the battle, by the way. This is down in the turn, I want to call it turn 3 because of the kink. And yeah, John let him through. He had to get off track to do it, but he did so.
Yeah, it's an awkward spot, that pit lane exit, because you are off the racing line as you exit, but you are very, very quickly back on the racing line as you come into that kink.
Right,
and if you come out side by side...
Burrs has overcut Senecas.
Wow.
Yeah, so that'll be the brotherly racing that's come into play there.
Yeah, great call, well spotted.
There. I think also Burrs may have been a little bit more efficient on the blocks than the pit stop.
Yeah, it didn't look like Paige lost too much time coming out of the pits with his little brother battle, but I don't know, maybe we didn't see him. Maybe he did lose, because the gap wasn't huge, was it, between Burrs and Paquita and Paige when they entered the pits? So yeah, you're not wrong. Maybe it was during the pit stop. Just couldn't quite get up on the blocks quick enough.
Keita should have the lead of the race, barring a clean pit stop. Just quickly, listener in chat saying Super Smash Bros on the Sneakers run in. Chris Vinning saying give him the real life blue flag. So yeah, a couple.
So they are in the pits now. By the way, Bakita, O'Hara, and Lamb have all pitted, and they are in the pits. So as you said, if barring any sort of happenstances in the pits, Bakita probably comes out P1 here. And O'Hara won't be too far away from sort of P2, P3. There's O'Hara coming out now. Burse has got him, so he's done very nicely there. O'Hara's done such a very nice clean race so far.
That was a good hold there from Burrs. It looked like he was going to go sideways around turn 3. Yes, Bakita now has the net lead. Obviously, Cruz and D yet to pit, but lead on track.
So yeah, Peach has really lost out big time in that pit stop. He's lost, I think, 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, give or take. My maths ain't great.
Yeah, he's gone from 1st to 4th. Down 3.
Yeah, lost 3 spots. I think that's why I was confusing myself. He's in P4, but he's lost 3 spots. Anyway, carry on.
However, after seeing qualifying, we know he's got the pace to get himself back up to the pointy end. It's not easy to pass here, so he's going to have his work cut out for him, especially with O'Hara, his season rival, just ahead of him. These two have been racing together all season. You saw a lot of argy-bargy between these two, and it's happening all over again in the finals.
So it's one thing having the pace, but then you got to remember we're racing at Fulton Park, so good luck trying to find an overtaking position.
So, just while we've got the pit stops done, and we'll wind our way up to the second pit stop. Oh, they're going a little wide through there. What's on the top of your Christmas list? Especially chat. I want to hear from chat, especially Sam Bugden. I want to know what's at the top of your Christmas list. You got Santa bringing you anything in particular?
Personally, I wouldn't mind an upgrade from the G920.
Really? You want a G920? I thought you'd want a PS5.
Oh. I want an upgrade.
Oh no,
Peach!
Peach! Peach! Oh, he's done 3 or 4 donuts. He's going to have to get off track and let a few past. Oh no, it's gone from bad to worse for our man. He'll be revving the tits out of that. He'll be very upset. Oh, that's heartbreaking. After what looked like such a promising race.
Yeah, that corner is it's a little bit evil. I'm not too sure how other drivers have been taking it, but personally, myself in the Bentley, I would be off throttle, give a little dab of the brakes, but that dab of the brakes would kind of unsettle the rear a little bit. So you've got to be pretty cautious with it. It seems like if he is dabbing the brakes, he may have just given it a little bit too much, or he's just come into the corner a bit too hot. He's just lost the rear all the way through. He's carrying a lot of momentum, so I think we saw him spin 2 or 3 times before he got the car to a complete stop.
Taking his spin.
I don't know.
Oh man, maybe smells. Now the brake shifting down to 4th just to help turn in a little bit.
The rotation.
Back on the front,
Yeah, I was in the McLaren taking it in 4th too. And it's, you know, a very sticky car, so I'd be surprised. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Bakita's taking it in 5th. She'll probably take it in 6th, let's be honest.
This will be the telltale here. I'm going to have a look at this telemetry in the bottom corner. He's just off throttle. Oh, yeah,
Just
so he hasn't been braking, but he's just come in too hot. May have got his line a little bit wrong and just run a bit wide. And he obviously tried to catch it, but that grass was there too. So absolutely not. You will not be catching this today. And now he is under fire by Figment. Only 2 tenths behind at the moment.
It's actually lucky he spun. It's lucky he spun because if you get out in that grass in a straight line, there's no stopping the car and you end up smack bang into that tyre wall, and that's all sorts of damage and probably will return to the pit. So he's actually lucky he spun. It's brought him up.
Yeah, the only hope that you have is if you can thread the needle through the gap in the tyre barrier. But even then, you run into the heavily cambered corner, and you're probably still not slowed down enough to stop it before you hit the wall on the other side.
Or, lo and behold, you hit someone else as they come through. Goodness gracious, that'd be unlucky. So, it could have been worse, but Yeah, still not ideal for our man Peach. There's been a couple of Fs in chat and they're well deserved. That's unlucky.
I was going to say, how do you feel if you're Michael Lamb in that situation? You come around the fast left hand and you see Senekis on the track facing the wrong way. That's a little scary.
Yeah, didn't stop in an ideal spot. I thought he was going to stop it on the grass, which would have helped him, but ended up putting the wrong way. Dan Hunter currently P9 as we see Sneakers coming to the pits through second stop. I think he's just going to get those crappy tyres off, chuck on a new set of socks and just run this one out to the end. So he's going to have to take care of those tyres for a little bit throughout this the final stint.
Not a terrible time to pit for him, because I think if he gets the pit stop, I don't know if he's got any damage, but he'll probably come out in a fair bit of space. We're on board here with Justin Cruz, and you know, he's coming around the sort of last sector now, and then behind him there's plenty of gaps there, and I think that's around about where Peach is going to come out. So it's, you know, he's bitten the bullet, and he said, I'm going to get this last one out of the way. He's going to have to go half an hour on probably 65, 70 litres. But if he gets it right and he gets the space,
65 set.
I don't know anything about the fuel consumption. That's?
Bentley is very low fuel consumption. Bokita gets quite angry about it when I talk about it.
Must be nice. Yeah. What else you got going for you? Want to ride some curbs? Jesus.
Yeah, I think it'll be about 50 litres that he'll be putting in the tank there.
So Peach is back out on track now, and I think he has found himself a little bit of space. So not all is lost for our man. He could still do a recovery drive yet, and maybe pinch back a sort of P5, P4.
You know what? If you're ever going to punch your brother during a sim race, that's probably the corner that you'd do it if you really want to screw him over. Conspiracy for you guys to think about.
We'll wait till the goodness, not getting into that one. Did we say, is John still on track? Did someone say he disconnected? I actually can't see him on the time screen anymore.
I thought he disconnected from the server.
I think you're right. I can't see him on the time screen anymore.
Car 444, not existent.
Oh, it's unlucky for both of them then. They've... Deary me. It's a sad household tonight. That's a great battle side by side, and Corey doesn't get left a lot of room. So does very well to back out of it. Again, that's another corner where if you're not on the racing line, you're not having a good time. And he did very well to pull it up before ending out in the grass.
Yeah, I think Juwon knew full well that he was on the grippy stuff and he didn't really have to stress about his position there all around.
So we just crossed half race distance, and I think it was Justin Cruz was the last driver to pit and make their first mandatory start. And he pitted right on the half race distance, which is hang on for one stop. Hopefully he knows there's 2 stops tonight. But currently running P9, that's pretty good from him.
Peter snags fastest lap at 32.8.
Yeah, flying now. 4 seconds clear of Lucas.
That eclipses the pole time.
Yeah, it does by 8 thousandths of a second.
So a couple of drivers that have done quite well after the first set of pits stop. Hignett just pinches back that fastest
instant
lap
reply.
32.8 dead. But yeah, Dan Hunter is up to P7. He was down in P11 earlier on in the race, so the pit stop has served him nicely. Sean Madison as well had a pretty eventful opening couple of laps. I think he had a little bit of sadness and he's pulled himself back into P9. He's back in the pits now at the moment, serving his second pit stop. So he'll have 28 odd minutes to serve on those tyres.
I'll tell you what's missing from this race though is Hooly Dooly Houlihan. Our split yellow winner is not racing with us tonight. Not sure what the reason is, but it's very disappointing not to have our fastest drivers on track. So looking forward to seeing him back next week.
Not just Houlihan, but the defending Pro Finals champion, Zach Smith, who is branding the #1 on his car at the moment, as he's entitled to as the reigning champion. He's not here either.
Corey Sweet goes for a move on the inside, coming to the second chicane. Doesn't quite get it done, can't get the car up next to Juwon there. Juwon is going to play on with this one.
I got excited.
Corey Sweet working very hard to try and get through.
I thought he was up alongside. I thought we were going to see a little move in there. So these two really enjoying their battle. This is Corey and Ryan Duong just right up in each other's business. As Corey again shows his nose, and that is a send. He's got it down the inside. Look at that. Bang! Corey sweet. Very nice. That's been coming for a couple of laps, I reckon.
Yeah, Ryan Jones
Straight into pits.
Oh, he's threaded that needle perfectly there.
Who said you can't overtake at Alton Park?
It's a two-man operation, that move.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, Duong maybe thought, I'm going into the pits, so you can just have this one. I'll leave the door open, and you go on through nicely. But it certainly looked clean. Goodness gracious, looked like a great move. Bakita has...
back up with the leader. Yeah, Bakita, after those pit stops, has maintained this gap, extended it ever so slightly. Was the 3-second margin after the stop, just as we wait for the timing sheets to update. It is now 3.6 seconds. So Bakita's setting some very clean laps at the moment and maintaining that position very well.
O'Hara doing a good job to hang in there too. He's only 2 seconds behind, and then those three have a pretty significant gap to Lamb P4. He's 10 seconds back and is followed in a bit of a train by Floyd and Hignett, just a couple of seconds behind them. And then Dan Hunter just having a nice little race by himself, really. He's never really been troubled by crews behind him, and he's never really been up behind anyone else either. So here's a pit entry for you. Lucas, I think, showing us how it's done. That looked pretty clean to me. As you said, Bender, it's a tricky little pit entry there. If you don't get it right, you find yourself very, very clearly having a kiss in the wall.
Oh, not just a kiss in the wall, mate. It could just be a big accident on pit entry. So, interesting that gaps at the front haven't really changed that much. Bakita's pulled 3.6 on Burrs, but he was dropping a little bit back before first round of stops. But O'Hara, I'm surprised he hasn't really been able to make many inroads into Burrs for the Battle of P2. Still sitting within 2 seconds of him.
Ali Kaiaruadin in his BMW. It's a nice looking BMW livery, actually. I don't mind that. Nice little cream and crimson number is what I'm going to go with there. That's very nice.
Reminds me of the strawberries and cream sweets from Alan's Lollies.
Yep, the ones with the... Yeah, that's bang on. Great call. I think that's because I love those. I think that's why it's attracting me.
One of the best ones. Yeah, look at this. Ben Floyd. And Hignett. Bends inside, covers that nicely.
So Hignett sacrificed a bit of speed on the entry there to try and maybe get a better exit here, but just not quite finding the way to get it through turn one with enough pace to get the wrong side. Great climb that corner. Hignett getting right up in the suck now. Showing his nose, but that's definitely not where you want to send it. I think he knew that from the start. I think Ben knows that too. If he just keeps his car in the right spot, just keeps running his race, there's bugger all Ben can do about it.
So yeah, talking about the circuit, keep it on the racing line, keep it consistent, and you should be pretty okay, to be honest.
Yeah, Lexus is back. It's made its return this season, season 7. I think since season 2 was the last time it ran. Chat, what are your thoughts? What are you guys' thoughts on having a Lexus back?
For mine, I think it is the best sounding car in the game. I just love getting it on board in a Lexus, and I go silent.
I'm sorry, I have to objectively prove you wrong there. There are 2 people who can bear witness to this, Frank Frankfurt and Sticky Death.
I already know what car you're going to say.
If you weren't there for it, mate, you had to be there for
the
Bathurst special event.
Yeah.
The V12 Aston Martin. Oh my goodness, we drove that around the mountain, and honestly, the stream just focused on that for a good chunk on board. It just sounds amazing.
You didn't even practice for the race. You just drove the car around the circuit to listen to it.
Yeah, that's right, mate. That's right.
Hey, there's a 12-hour event coming up. Let's listen to the car for 12 hours. Love it.
This Bentley doesn't sound too bad either. I don't mind the Bentley. It sounds alright. And I like that the Bentley's right-hand drive. You know, that feels a bit more homely than all the other left-hand cars that we drive. So yeah, I haven't driven a lot of the Bentley. I actually gave it a crack around this track just to see what all the fuss was about. And, yeah.
Hignett!
He's gonna have to. I tell you, once you get on that grass, he's done.
Well
Good
done.
save.
Oh,
Wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that from on board. That would have been very close to those barriers.
That is about as good as that mistake can get. That's probably the best recovery you can ask for.
We did say if you get out on that grass, you've got really high speed coming around that corner, and then there's not a lot of room between that corner and a great big tyre barrier, and it's not a destructible tyre barrier like in real life, it just stops you. So we get it on board here. He just gets a little bit loose, carries a bit too much speed, doesn't drop it down to fourth, and then he has to rescue it, and by then he's got his back tyres on the grass. Oh, God, pull it out of there. God, he's done well.
Oh, that is close.
That is clutch driving, Benjamin Hignett.
That is very far out in the grass. Like, you don't feel like there's going to be any return from that. And I feel like even approaching that wall, within 5 meters, he didn't think he was going to make it.
Race director doing a great job of showing us just how close he was to an absolute death. That was a return to pits moment if he didn't get that right. That is
which he is in the pits now. He's throw those socks in the bin. He's going to throw those crusty old socks in the bin. He's going to chuck on a fresh pair.
Can't stress enough how good that driving was. It's easy to just sort of give up and chuck the brakes on, and if you lock your brakes on that grass, you're dead. He's done well. He's just kept his composure and a couple of little crosses on the steering wheel and just brought it back to the road, and that's just quality driving, Ben. Nice work. On board with Peach here, just quietly going about his business. He's still got plenty of gap to Kyrudin in front of him. He's been out on these tyres for 10 minutes now, and we haven't seen a lot of him, but his lap times look good, so he'll just be moseying on along.
Yeah, so he's just popped out in front of Hignett, so his race isn't going that horrible. He's still up at the pointy end with these drivers. Because I thought that Hignett would have popped out in front of Sneakers for sure, but he's obviously setting some really good laps after his incidents. Hopefully he's not destroying the tyres too much. But yeah, he's a front runner of all the drivers who have served both of their pit stops.
Here's John. We're getting this is John's disconnect, I think. Yeah, he's... oh, no. No.
Yeah.
Don't know
it seems like that incident has happened and he's tried to carry on, and by the time we got to the second chicane, he's realised the car was absolutely toast, and yeah, just decided to pull off.
So yeah, we'll talk about Page being, you know, he's leader of the people who have completed their pit stops at the moment. So yeah, it's coming up pretty well for the man. He's done well after obviously what was an unfortunate turn of events for him originally. Doing very nicely up there, top of the greens. Ben Floyd now in the pits, as is Young, so they will go green shortly. Green obviously meaning the cars that have completed all their pit stops. You'll see his little green sticker appear next to the car 65. Will he come out P1 of the greens? I think he might probably sneak out in front of Senekis, but again, nothing to sneeze at considering his early escapades. So nice work, Peach. Good work so far.
Ben Floyd having a pretty decent race as well. He's
got them
just
as well.
Behind Sneakers.
Yes, Peach is still P1. That's a great effort.
Don't recall where Floyd started the race. Might have been P7, P8, I think, roundabouts.
Yeah, not sure, but he was running P5 5-10 minutes ago.
You're not wrong, Braden. You said that, you know, obviously Page is going to be struggling on his tyres a little bit towards the end of the race, especially if that track position is Probably King, I would suggest.
Well, yeah, that's it. Like, my tyres weren't very great at the end of the race last night, but, yeah, having this circuit to run around kind of helps, because didn't really leave any opportunities for the guys behind us to make any moves. So, you know, just tried to keep it on the line, despite being all over the place when I was going through the corners. So, yeah, as long as you can keep it on the track, he might be all fine and dandy here. I think you were saying before, Bender did his 52-minute stint on his tyres, and even then he was still struggling to get past just because of the nature of the circuit. Just on board the sneakers.
Is this a replay of the Yeah, I think this is a replay of the original incident where he just got himself. Even before the corner started. He was off in the grass there, and it just upset the balance of the car, and then he went into the corner sort of drifting, and this is Lamb coming around and seeing a spinning PJ in front of him. So
oh, well, Sneakers has done well to get that off the track as soon as he could. It's a great presence of mind to not only save another driver from collecting him, but if a driver did collect him, that would have been the end of his race. So we've seen Bokita and Lamb come into the pits for their final pit stops. Burrs is current leader on track, closely followed by O'Hara, 1.8 seconds the margin.
Just watching Bokita come out of the pits in the second screen there. Having completed all of her pit stops, or double vision, double Bokita vision. That's what you like to see. Look at that.
Bokita inception.
So it's Bokita followed by Flory. Oh yes. Oh yes, double smooth inputs into the carousel. Getting all of the knowledge here. All of the views of one of the highest quality drivers we have. Look at that.
Like big of
Launching his broadcast powers. What else you got for us? Chuck a replay on top of this as well. Keep it going.
Do a flip.
What else you got? Racing promises.
So yeah, I think Bokita has come out in front of Peach. Moritz was saying his Peach Net 1. I didn't know how long the pit delta was, but I couldn't believe that, you know, Peach, after obviously having a bit of a spin and whatnot, would come out in front of Bokita, and that is the case. Bokita is P1. But how about Senekis? That's a great effort, recovering to what is essentially P2.
I think it'll be P4. I think it'll be behind Burrs and O'Hara as well.
That's still a pretty solid effort considering the moment that he had. He did lose a lot of time. So just watching Hignett come. Oh, sorry, that's Burrs coming out of the pit lane now. See where he comes out in comparison to Bokita. Do you think Bokita is well clear?
Yeah, Bokita's clear, and this is Sneakers coming out the last corner now, so be P4. A long way drifted, but not through. Be interesting to see where Cruz and D slot into this group here. I think we said Cruz was running, what, P9 earlier on?
Yeah, Megan D was running P11 prior to this round of pit stops. Hignett's getting a little bit loose through these high-speed corners.
He's been
really
pushing it.
Just constant input on the wheel, just catching the car every opportunity. He gets on the brakes really late there, just trying to outbrake Floyd here, who was taking position in that Lexus.
I assume you two, you know, that inside curb there on the left where they're sort of just running over the curb. I assume you both took that in your Bentley and your Aston. You sort of just ran over that curb.
100%. I found it weird when I saw onboards of other drivers not doing that.
Sorry, which curve coming out the chicane?
No, the first chicane going into it. So, you know, the little left-hander that sets you up for the right.
No, I was avoiding that.
Yeah, I was avoiding that too. I just found it too inconsistent to try and use it.
Surprisingly, the Porsche can take it pretty well. I was watching it on board of Dan Hunter, and he takes a lot of that curb in the Porsche.
Yeah, well, that's the quality of driver as opposed to the car then, I think, because, yeah, I just never got it right during practice and was therefore not game to try it during the race or qualifying or anything like that.
So
While
you
we're on
saw,
the topic, sorry, go on.
a moment ago, Andrew O'Hara came out the pits behind Burrs, wasn't able to make the overcut work. So Keita, Burrs, O'Hara will be your top 3. So Megan D still yet to make a final stop. Is that 4, 7, 8? Oh, it's 4, 7, 1. Justin Hignett? Yeah, Hignett. He was around. So he's lost out there. He's lost out to Cruz and Madison.
Yeah, currently sitting P10 now.
I think he was pushing a little bit too hard to get past Ben Floyd. He's made a mistake.
Yeah, you called that, Braden. You said he was just pushing a little bit. It seems to have brought him unstuck a little bit there, unfortunately.
Yeah, my theory would be pressure loss in the tyres. It does make the rear of the Bentley extremely loose when the tyres start to deflate. So yeah, it was just, you could just see him coming through the sweepers and just making multiple inputs, just making sure the car stays on track. As you can see there, he's dabbed to the brakes, it's lightened to the rear, and it's just, the suspension's just unloaded on it. I think the combination of that and the lack of downforce due to having Floyd so closely in front wouldn't have helped his case either. Nikas is now under fire from Lamb. Lamb is running pretty closely behind him, keeping him honest, putting on a lot of pressure, but he's also got pressure of his own by Floyd and Alexis just behind. So Nikas still doing really well to have that car in the top 5 division and top 4 once Megan serves their final pit stop. Has anyone told her that there's 2 pit stops this race? Because there's only 10 minutes to go.
The bender strap, stay out as long as physically possible.
But the reason behind that strat is to try and get some screen time. Megan's not getting any screen time. She has much traffic around her.
Mentioning her, so that's close enough, right?
Oh yeah, P1, get the camera.
Oh, any publicity is good publicity.
Great work. Nah, in all seriousness, it's been a pretty good race for me, and to be up there and, as you said, what is not the strongest car, but we said it's not the strongest car, and there's currently 4 in the top 11. Megan D probably filters into sort of, P9 round about there, so there'll be 4 in the top 11 by the time all the pit stops are complete. So I don't care what anyone says, it's a great car, and the fact that it got a couple of buffs is just beyond me. Even as a McLaren, I'm very happy for them, don't get me wrong, but it just makes no sense to me.
I'll see you all in the McLaren next season.
I mean, it got some power nerfs, and unless you're talking about Monza, it got a pretty significant power buff there. But I think it just traded some lightweight buffs for some power nerfs. So I don't know how that just makes it more of a McLaren for me. I love that the McLaren dances around. It's very sticky. It's very petite. It's not like these big front engine beefy boys. I like that it's nice and light. So it just feels more of that to me now. So I love it, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess, over the next season or two, how these changes will. We'll get a really good read for it at Silverstone, obviously, because there's a lot of McLaren entries. As we see, Michael Young going around the outside of, I want to say that's Duong, yeah. There's no grip up there, unfortunately. It looked like he had a good run, and he's certainly putting Duong under a lot of pressure, but yeah, just couldn't quite get it done there.
It almost looked like he wasn't actually trying to make an overtake. It looked like he just closed in a bit quicker than he thought he would, so he kind of had to pull to the outside to avoid contact. Tried to turn it into an opportunity, but yeah, obviously you got the marbles out there and it's not the sticky part of the track, so he hasn't been able to capitalise on it.
Lamb under all sorts of pressure now from Floyd. Lamb covering the inside, just positioning his car very nicely there, just in the middle of the road. He said you either got to go down the inside because there's not enough room here on the outside. Floyd getting a little bit squirrely on the exit there, but nothing too sinister. Megan D making her final pit stop, looking very nice up there in P1 for as long as she could, but brings it in with 7 minutes to go. And
Just holds off. Or just comes out ahead of Gibbons, though. I think he's going to have a run.
He's going to be interested on his warm tyres, that's for sure. She's going to be struggling for pace for the first, especially for the first lap. And Gibbo's got a bit of an exit there. There's a bit of McLaren on McLaren action, so we'll certainly see them giving it to each other. Oh, that's a bit wide there from Dan Hunter. And Corey Sweet says, thank you very much. I'll have that one. Unlucky. We said Daniel was having a nice quiet race with no one around him before. He's certainly been under pressure from Corey for a couple of laps now, and Corey gets another move done, but back on board with Megan and Gibbo here. Gibbo definitely has the pace. You can see him just closing under braking. You can see he's getting good exits. You see he's got the pace, but as we said before, if Megan just keeps it on the right line and keeps her car in the right spot and does all the right things, she will probably hold that position, just due to the nature of the track and how hard it is to overtake. And Megan has inadvertently sort of pushed Gibbo back into the glaring gaze of Corey Sweet, who's already shown he's willing to make the moves if they appear.
Yeah, Gibbo, very experienced driver. I think he's one of the very few drivers in OOR that also does a little bit of real life racing as well. I think he's competing in an open wheeler category at the moment. Don't mind that livery. Is that white and black? Is that a gold trim that he's got floating around?
Yeah, that's the Alpha Venturi livery he's running. So you'll see a couple of those going around Silverstone, that's for sure. One of the newest additions to Alpha Venturi. Very happy to have him on board. And yeah, running the white, gold and blue of Alpha Venturi. Looking very sharp. But you're not wrong, still not quite striking as that Megan D livery. I do love those blue rings actually really pop, don't they?
All about making colours pop.
Yeah, one of the few times neon rims or colourful rims actually look good. Nice battle finishing here. I mean, 55 minutes gone and a nice close battle for the top 10.
Yeah, a bit of battle going up ahead as well with Sneakers as we just jump on board with them. So Lamb travelling only 2 tenths behind with Floyd 4 tenths, Cruz 5 tenths. As we just see Floyd run a little bit wider. Was that, no, that wasn't, sorry, that was Cruz. Cruz run a little bit wide on the exit of the last corner, but he has stayed on the tail. As you can see Sneakers is working really hard to put the tyres into the grass here and there, just trying to maximise the line through every corner. Trying to make that car as wide as possible, make sure there's absolutely no chance of the car slipping up on the inside or the outside.
And Mekas will be squealing on those tyres by now.
Yeah, it's quite a large margin up to the top 3. It's 23 seconds until O'Hara. 23 seconds between O'Hara and Sneakers, so Sneakers is still in a good position, but just looking at those timing sheets, those mistakes actually have hurt quite a lot. Not to mention the state of the tyres at the moment, as we just see Floyd just weaving, trying to break the toe from Cruz. Just trying to minimise the amount of straight line speed that he can have, not letting him have a little peak on the inside or go for any kind of dive. Picking it down to P9 is obviously had a couple of mistakes in the late stages of this race, but he's still holding on to that fastest lap, which I believe was a 32.8.
How quickly that gap opens up behind when you've got to go defensive through a couple of corners. So I think there's going to be 3 laps. Lap they're on plus 2 more potentially.
Yeah, I dare say you can work it out pretty easily mathematically as they cross the line. Oh, every single car wants to run wide there. They just kind of followed each other off. That's Corey Sweet, Megan D, and Callum Gibbons.
Corey's really sniffing here. He's, again, really putting all sorts of pressure on the back of Gibbo, as he has done to a couple of drivers already this race. And with 2.5 minutes to go, he'll think maybe one more move to be made here. It won't necessarily be a move that he makes himself, though. He'll be trying to get in the mirrors of Gibbo and put him offline somewhere, but Gibbo, I think, will keep his composure and keep that McLaren in all the right places and bring home a pretty impressive top 11 position if he gets that. Not as impressive as Jean-Pierre Senekis, in my opinion. I think if he brings it home in P4, that'll be absolutely heroic.
So just in the later stages of this race, the top three are currently pulling at low 33s. Satisfyingly, Burrs has done a 33 flat, so that's a few zeros in that time.
Oh, we like that.
And then P4 onwards are high 34s, so they are starting to lose a bit of position. Cruz, another satisfying time. He had a 35.000.
Getting a replay of Dan Hunter having a little bit of a drifterino around that corner. Not the first driver to do that tonight. There's been a couple that have lost around there. Didn't come off too bad. Managed to bring it back on track. I don't think he even lost position really.
Yeah, he'll be spewing about how this race has gone. He's done quite a bit of practice and lead up to this one. And hasn't gone his way. One penalty coming his way and a couple of off tracks. Just on board with Cruz there, just closing the gap extremely quickly onto the entry of the hairpin. Another replay here of Corey Sweet running wide.
Oh dear! Oh no!
Oh, that's a big hit.
Oh no! So he's just pushed a little too hard around that double apex right-hander, and it looks like he's going to return to pits. That's terrible news for Corey Sweet, who's done such a good job of making some moves and getting a position.
Look at that steering input. That was almost full lock, and that was just going in a straight line.
He knew straight away that's in all sorts of trouble. Oh dear, that's with 2 minutes to go. You hate to see that. He's provided
some of his drivers will be experiencing a little bit of fatigue, and he's just got the braking point in the entry to that corner all wrong. Just carried far too much speed into it. I think he was carrying about 160 k's coming into the entry corner.
Yeah, 170. It didn't even look like he was braking. Just looked like he eased off, and then he brakes like almost when he was on the grass.
It seemed like a pretty big mistake to make from Corey, so I would be interested to see his inputs. And maybe you're right, maybe it was a bit of a disconnection, or maybe a pedal failure or something of the sort. That'd be even more unlucky. It's harder if it's out of your control. We saw Matt Pignata last night was in P5 and cruising along looking really good for a position, and he disconnected with again with about 2 or 3 minutes to go, and that ruined his entire race. Ended up finishing last. So if you've been it yourself, you can maybe live with it after a couple of weeks of cruising around, but if it's out of your control and it's a disconnect, that hurts, I think, even more.
Yeah, and in some people's cases, they might need to go buy a new monitor the next day after punching the middle of theirs. Would not recommend.
Akita doing some happy squiggles. Very nice work. What a dominant display. After the early pit stop, she went for the overcut. She got it done, and she will bring it home in P1 in round 1 of the Pro Finals. Great race from Lucas Burst. If you don't mind putting himself between Bakita and O'Hara, O'Hara did very well after what was not necessarily a disappointing qualifying for us mere mortals, but for himself maybe a little. He brings it home in P3. Nice work to you, Andrew. And we're watching Peach, Lamb, and Floyd still continuing their little battle that they've had over the last sort of 5 laps. And Senekis has done so very well to hold on to what will be a heroic P4 after putting it on pole, having a few little incidents at the start really ended, and he started off the pit stop game really nicely early. Lamb P5 and Floyd P6. Cruz will come home in P7 in the BMW. Mads did pretty well, made up a few spots after, I think, also an early exit onto the side of the road. Hignett P9 and brings home the fastest lap. Megan D, Gibbo, Hunter, and here comes Duong, followed by Rakuti. I'm going to get that one right because he told me how to say that. It's Rakuti. Rakuti Booty.
He does strike me as a bit of a cutie.
All right, Rudin P16, Weatherburn P17. Nice walk, Yoda. That's not too bad in a pro. I'd be very happy with that myself. That's a very striking livery too there from Weatherburn in the Honda. Relahi Baldwin Holmes, unable to make up too many spots after his early errors. Shervitz and poor old Corey Sweet will
Out of
bring
fuel?
home the field.
Yeah, he's out of fuel, but
That's full throttle. Yeah, weave it in. Swirl the tank. Did he make it across the line? He did.
yes, he did. Just.
That is perfectly calculated from Relahi.
So
Didn't lose any positions.
I don't get why you wouldn't just take an extra 3 litres of fuel. There's not going to be a difference in lap time.
Yeah, the time difference is negligible, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, they're pros, not me, so that they can do what they like. He brought it home, I did not. Madison getting a fair bit of love in chat, and rightly so. As I said, he had I think it was a lap 1 incident that sort of sent him spiralling down a few spots.
Look at these two.
Did well to recover to P8. Who's this bit of a love? This is Bakita and who? Who are we watching? Oh, Mads.
Madison.
Yeah, nice. Well, quite entertaining that race. I don't know about you, but I reckon that went way too quickly. I was hoping that we'd see plenty of good battles, and did we ever?
Yeah, no safety car. What's with that?
There you go, car 667. Safety car has been disqualified by race control.
Yeah, that's bad news, especially after safety car became last at the end of that. Didn't even serve any of their pit stops.
Yeah.
Boo, boo, safety car.
Who even drives the Jag these days?
Hang on. Careful. I didn't want it to delve into Jag slander. I won't have that. Call us out. Who finished P1? Tell me.
Okita, P1. Took 51 seconds more than what it took me to finish the race, so I guess I'm better than Bokita. Just throw that one out there. Burrs, P2. And O'Hara, P3. Nice recovery after not a great qualifying. Sanikas, P4. Also not too bad after pole and then after the incident throughout the race. And it wasn't the best race for him, but the recovery and getting P4 is still pretty respectable. So tip your hat to him. Lamb kept him pretty honest in P5. And the rest of the top 10 is rounded out by Ben Floyd, Cruz, Madison, Hignett, and Megan D. Fastest lap award goes to Hignett as well, and that was with a 32.8.
8:00. Yep. So right after Bakita went 32.875, Hignett responded immediately with 32.800.
Which happens to be faster than our qualifying lap from Senekis. So it's amazing. I always think that's amazing if the fastest lap in the race is on sort of weird tyres and it's got full of fuel and you manage to go faster than the best qualifying time. It's got to be a lower temperature or something to bring in there. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it could also just be the finding your rhythm on circuit as well. Once you find your rhythm and you start hitting your lines and hitting your braking points, that could really aid. Whereas qualifying is it's a bit of a scramble and you're kind of panicking. Oh, I need to set this lap. Oh, I didn't set the lap. Oh, I've invalidated. Oh, I've spun. I've got to go back to the pits. Got to try again. It's a bit more frantic in qualifying, but yeah, in race trim, you find your rhythm, and if you really nail the rhythm for one lap, then that one lap can be better than qualifying.
So here you go, Brayden. Got bad news for you, mate. So we saw the timetable before. Bakita did 60 minutes 54 seconds. You did it in 60 minutes 0.0 seconds and 4/10. She did 38 laps. You did 37, mate. So bad luck.
Oh,
you would have finished a lap down, mate. A lap down. I'm sorry to break it to you, but all I can
coming from you, how many laps down did you finish?
That shows the difference in pace between.
We're not talking about me, mate. You made this about you, so
that's incredible.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll cop that one on the chin.
Yeah. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for us here for Asia Pacific Pro Finals Round 1. Of course, you can tune in later tonight because we have Round 1 of the European Pro Finals kicking off. So about 8 or 9 hours from now, if you're up and about, stay tuned. So those will be coming to you. Of course, this Saturday we've also got the Endurance Series. That's wrapping up. I believe they're at Spa-Francorchamps, greatest track in the world. And then we've got the F1 Legend Series running again on Sunday night. So, Brayden, Jamie, thank you very much for your commentary tonight.
Been a pleasure.
It has been a dead set pleasure.
Yeah, as you were saying, big weekend of motorsport. We've also got the Bathurst 1000 on for those of you playing at home. The Australian GTs have been racing around. They've got another race tomorrow morning. So yeah, big week of motorsport, and there's a lot going on for OOR. So get around it. Settle in for the weekend. Grab yourself your favourite fizzy drink, and just enjoy some nice, clean racing.
Of course,
and become
if
a
you do,
Patreon today.
yeah, you can support us on Patreon or becoming a channel member. Of course, if you do want to enter our Silverstone 12-hour special event coming up on the 17th and 18th of December, you can. Entries close on the 10th, so you've got just a week left to get your team in. Other than that, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and thank you to our cameraman, who shall be nameless.
Hooroo!